What wind monsters are your opponents usually playing? None. They're playing none wind monsters. Janjo! Hey everyone, this is Jesse from Janjo. In this video, we're going to be building a Harpie wind deck, so let's get started. This is Janjo, and I'm building a deck, yeah! Into the fire, taking it higher and higher. Hey everyone, in this video, which I've already mentioned, we are building a Harpie deck. Now before we get started, make sure to check out my Patreon if you want to request a deck profile or discussion video. Want to support Janjo? Get your name in videos or request content for the channel? Then check out my Patreon for exclusive perks, content, and stretch goals. Or my merch for some sick dual sauce merch, or even my TCG player link if you want to support the Janjo Zone further, because if you buy stuff using that link, I get a kickback so I can do more great stuff on this channel. Now, if you enjoy this kind of stuff, I make Yu-Gi-Oh content weekly, so stuff I gotta say. Wait, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't, because that helps me upload more videos and know that you like content like this. So when I initially was doing this series, I knew at some point I wanted to cover the attributes. I covered fire decks, I covered water decks in the previous 2 weeks. They turned out kind of differently of how I imagined them would be. So it was inevitably I was going to get 2 wind cards. Now, what kind of wind would I go? There could be like a wind toolbox. There could be a gate deck. Really, the floodgates, or I guess the storm gates in this case, were wide open. There's a lot of ways to go. I eventually settled on Harpies because, well, they're really the only thematic wind monsters in GOAT format, with the one exception, and that would be the armed dragons. But we've already made a profile on armed dragons, and that did feature one card we actually are using in this, and that is our favorite flying Kamakiri #1. Now, Kamakiri #1, when you destroy a battle, you can special summon a wind monster with 1500 attack or less from your deck face-up attack position. Not too bad. I mean, he's just a generic searcher. When it came to the Harpies cards, though, there's actually a chunk we can use. Now, when it comes to Harpie Lady, and unfortunately, and I hate this, that all the primary Harpie Lady cards, like Cyber Harpie, Harpie Lady 1, 2, 3, they're all considered Harpie Ladies. And that really sucks because you can only play 3 in your deck. If there's any dual masters, you can't play 4 copies. You can only play 3 because they're all considered Harpie Lady. And that blows. I winked, if you can. That's what a wink looks like. So in terms of the Harpie Ladies, we're not gonna play the vanilla one because this ain't a skill drain beatdown. But we're gonna play at least one Cyber Harpie Lady because, 1800 attack is pretty good. Like, it has good stats, so I think it's worth playing. The other ones we're actually gonna play one Harpie Lady 1 and one Harpie Lady 2. We're not gonna play 3 because 3 sucks. But the benefits with 1 and 2 is that 1, all wind monsters gain 300 attack. So while it does have 1300 attack, when it hits the field, it gets to 1600. So 1600 is kind of the bar of good attack in GOAT format Yu-Gi-Oh! Because that's kind of the level of a lot of staple cards like Blade Knight, Tribe Infecting Virus. With Harpie Lady 2 is that it negates the effect of flip monsters that sort of battle. So, again, it's kind of like a Blade Knight in that regard. And these 2 are summonable by Kamakiri #1. So that's why we're not just maxing on Cyber Harpie Lady. We're not going the pure beatdown, because this deck does have some versatility to it. It's not just your everyday Harpie deck. There is some strats involved. When it comes to the sisters, though, we're going to be playing 2, because you can get it out with Elegant Egotist. But 2 is fine. I mean, it's 1950 attack, 2100 defense. It's not going to be Tsukiyomi. It's respectable stats. But we are playing 1 Pet Dragon, because we kind of have to play Pet Dragon, It's a Harpie card. I always have criteria in my decks. In this one, I gotta play all the Harpie cards that were available. When it comes to some of the other ones we have in our disposal, such as the Harpie's Hunting Ground. We're actually going to play one, and I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Now, what Hunting Ground does is a field spell. Wing Beast gain 200 attack and defense, and if you summon a Harpie Lady or the Sisters, you can destroy a spell trap on the field. So you get a lot of back row destruction. You don't really see too many decks that really optimize that too much. And we're not going to optimize it. This isn't a back row version of the Harpies. That could be a future one, but hold with me here. A couple other Harpie cards. Elegant Egotist. We're actually going to play 3 because this, if we have one Harpie Lady, which of course we're playing 3, we can special summon 1 from our hand or deck or the Sisters. So if you just have one of these, we can get a lot of things out. So it's a great, just generic special summoning card, and that's absolutely wonderful. The last one, which some of you may be kind of like, what? Is gonna be our Sky Scout. Yeah, back in GOAT format, he was Harpie's brother. That was a great name. Of course, it was mistranslated like Red Eyes be Chick, but I felt like it was you know, we kind of have to play them for the nostalgia's sake. You could swap them out with pretty much anything else. But still, 1800, it's still good stats. I mean, it's like Cyber Harpie Lady, so that's not too bad. Some of the other monsters we're going to be playing, though. We actually got a Searcher for the Harpie Ladies. That's Bird Face. Unfortunately, it does not float out to the field. It sends it to your hand, but still, another Searcher is great. It's not as good as Flamamakiri. So we are only gonna play 2, but these are all considered Harpie Lady regardless. So that's just their effect. That's why you can only play 3 of them. So you can search out whichever one you need. So the other win cards we're playing Sylphid. We're gonna play 3. Initially I had 2 and 1 Garuda the Wind Spirit. For some variety, they have the same banish one wind monster to special summon it, but Garuda just isn't really too bad, or too good rather, excuse me. The thing with Garuda is that during your opponent's end phase, you can switch a monster they control in its battle position, which you have to wait till their end phase, and that's even assuming its effect is useful. While you got Sylphid, which, sure, it can be Tsukiyomi'd, it has 100 more attack, and its effect is just better. When it's destroyed by battle, your opponent discards a random card from their hand. Like, that's just way better than Garuda. I'm sorry, but that's what we're going with. There's a couple other cards we can play. Well, Sylphia actually can't be searched out by flying Kamakiri, but these other cards are. So the next card we're playing is 2 Lady Ninja Yeah. Lady Ninja Yeah can be searched by Kamakiri. Discard 1 wind monster from your hand to graveyard. Return all spell and traps your opponent controls to their hand. So that's pretty good. It's discard 1 card, 1 wind monster, so for essentially a giant Trunade, which is pretty awesome. So again, this goes towards, I'm making this kind of more of like a beatdown deck than a back row control. Hence I'm only playing 1 of these. We are playing some other things that can revolve around field spells, but Ninja Yeti is, you know, it isn't too bad. Again, you can return stuff to the field, so it helps open up the field for attacks. You're playing 1 Great Fly because you can special summon straight out from Kamakiri and increases all wind monsters by 500 attack, which is really good. If you consider that, what wind monsters are your opponents usually playing? None. They're playing none wind monsters. So most of the time with wind monsters, you get all the benefits out of it, and that's what I like about it. Because I can't think of any great generic wind monsters that your opponent typically plays. Generally speaking, they're not going to be playing any wind monsters. They're very specific attribute compared to other ones like light and dark, water. The next card we're playing is not as good as, let's say, a Mystic Swordsman, but you can get him out with Flying Kamakiri, and that's Sasuke Samurai. Start damage step. If it attacks the face down defense position monster, it is destroyed, which is pretty nifty. So that's why we're playing instead of like a Mystic Swordsman, because you can search him out. He does get boosts from other things. So that's why we're playing Sasuke Samurai, because he has that good utility. These are kind of like the 2 utility cards that you get him out when you need them. I think that's a good strategy out going for the monster lineup, where you have utility of back row destruction, searching out cards that have a lot of different utility, which is something that warriors do great with. And wind monsters actually have that very similar toolbox aspect with him, which that's what I like. When it comes to field spells, we're playing 2 terraforming. Now you may be wondering, well, Janjo, you're only playing 1 field spell. That's not true. We actually are playing 3. See, the other 2 we're playing is Rising Air Current. See, while I like Harpie's Hunting Ground for what it does, for increasing winged beast monsters, Rising Air Current increases all wind monsters by 500 attack. That is phenomenal. Again, your opponent isn't playing wind monsters. They're not doing that. So when you increase these cards by 500, suddenly you got a 2300 attack Cyber Harpie. You got a 2300 attack Cyber Harpie, 2100 Bird Face, 1600 Lady Ninja, and this is on top. Okay, this is on top of if you have a card like Blade Flyout, increased by 500 points. Harpie Lady 1, 300 points. Consider that. Consider the following. While this does increase their defense and this decreases defense, which makes them a lot of these cards are more susceptible to Tsukiyomi, the beatdown aspect is just absolutely crazy. And consider all these monsters suddenly just get crazy strong. That's kind of scary to think about. Which even makes Harpie's Pet Dragon even better. But that's why we're playing those. Because initially I did have 3 Harpie's Hunting Ground, but I'm thinking like, man, these need more of a boost. So that's why we're playing that. To take care of cards like Tsukiyomi, we are playing a Raigeki Break, Torrential Tribute, Ring of Destruction, Mirror Force. We're playing some strong cards. Raigeki Break is good because you can't dump wind monsters to set up a Sylphid play if you need to. That's good. We're also playing Jar of Greed because Jar of Greed does work with Hunting Ground. So if you're ever in the case where you want to summon a Harpie monster and your opponent doesn't have any spell and traps, but you have one that you've already set in a previous turn, and let's say that one's Jar of Greed, sure, destroy it, chain it, draw a card. So that's why I'm playing 1 Jar of Greed. We're playing a lot of other kind of staple cards. Haunted, Snatch Still Premature, the Trinity, Space Typhoon. We're not playing Heavy Storm. We don't really need it because, again, we do have a lot of cards that deal with back row between the 2 Lady Ninjas, MST, Hunting Ground. So I don't really need that. The last card we're playing, the last Harpie card actually, Triangle Ecstasy Spark. So until the end of the turn, all Harpie Lady Sisters on the field become 2700. Your opponent cannot activate any trap cards, so it prevents and negates all trap cards during the turn. Plus, you get some strong monsters. So if you can manage to get one of these gals out with Triangle Ecstasy Spark while having something like Rising Air Current, well, then now they can beat over a Lackluster Soldier. This deck does have some issues in the sense that there are certain meta cards that hurt it, like if you're not in the right circumstances, a Blackluster Soldier or a Tsukiyomi can definitely hurt a bit, but generally the beatdown vibe is real with this deck. This deck blows, but in a good way, if you know what I mean. So there's a lot of good ways to go about this deck. There's plenty of wind monsters that you could play. There's plenty of ways to go about this. Plenty of wind variants you could do, which I'm sure I'll get to in the future. Play other fantastic cards like a Stealth Bird, even though that's not a wind, it's a winged beast. Sasuke Samurai 4, Tornado Bird, Garuda, fantastic wind monsters, Spear Dragon, Slate Warrior, Kazejin even. Hell, you could play, even though it's a fire monster, Sacred Fiend of Nephthys. It's a winged beast, so it does get some benefits. Maybe I'll make a wind burn fire thing or something someday. I don't know. But I do like the build, as I typically say with these videos. I think it has a lot of utility with it, a lot of usefulness that also incorporates in a beatdown aspect. So do not sleep on this deck. Try it out, change some ratios. Let me know what you would change about this deck. If there's things you like about it, things you don't like about it, let me know, obviously, in the comments below or on my Discord, which I'll linked, so we can chat more about Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. And if I decide to make an updated version of this deck, that will be in my Patreon as well. So, yeah, hope you all enjoy this deck, and until I see you all next time, have a wonderful day.
My grandpa's deck has no pathetic cards, Kaiba.